It was a meeting like no other, between two master archers, one of the wind dancers and the other of the night gale. As the sun began to set, the sky glowing a beautiful orange, Glode, a master of the bow from the wind dancers, ventured out far from their forest. She felt adventurous and was bored of the usual scenery, as she walked lightly across the forest, cheerfully humming. Often the wind dancers go barefoot. This allows them to glide seamlessly across the forest floor. She admires the orange sky until an arrow pierces the rock that she was sitting against, a silent arrow hidden by the light breeze of the wind. Glode quickly jumped up and pulled her bow, asking who it was that shot that arrow, but the nightingales do not answer. They do not speak. You get one chance, one warning, and their second arrow does not miss. But the nightingales never met a wind dancer before. Once their senses are heightened, there is very little that can hit them. A nightingale are known for their silence, including their arrows. It does not whistle while traveling through the air. Usually the only sound their victims hear are the gurgling noise they make as the arrow pierces their throat. The second shot was released. The forest was silent. A feather falling could have made more sound than the arrow the nightingale released. Glode heard nothing, but as the arrow got closer, the subtle shift in the wind alerted her. Glode slightly moved her head, avoiding the fatal arrow. Quickly shooting one of her own in the direction the arrow came from, nothing happened. Then suddenly, a second arrow came at Glode, and the fight began. Glode began running through the forest, shooting arrows back, not yet knowing where her pursuer was. The nightingale was on the move as well, which caused subtle movements begin to happen in the forest. A leaf here, some grass there, the movement of insects moving out of the way. All of this was recorded in Glode's eyes, and she started to pinpoint a location of her pursuer. Glode readied 2 arrows and stood still. She waited for another arrow. Eyes pinpointed in the nightingale's location. The arrow came and she dodged, shooting an arrow in that direction, and then quickly shooting another arrow where the nightingale would go next. This shocked the nightingale, angering her. Then Glode could see eyes glowing in the forest. "Not so hidden now," Glode said, mocking her. Then the two continued covering the forest in arrows. This fight was long and drawn out. That the sun fully set, the sky is no longer orange, but instead black. A full moon lit the forest instead. Now Glode will experience why the nightingales received their name. The serene forest during the sunset has now become a pit of suspense. The peaceful silence has become a deafening silence. Glode sat still. She didn't know which direction to move in. Then suddenly an arrow came from the darkness, grazing her cheek. She dodged as usual, but the arrow seemed to move faster. But it wasn't moving faster. The arrow was being shot from an enclosed distance. The nightingales are masters of moving in the shadows, and when the sun sets, the shadow world takes over. And the nightingales are the masters of this world. Glode began to run, shooting wildly, as multiple arrows were coming from what seemed like a closer and closer distance. But Glode was keeping herself safe, just barely dodging the arrows, but now the cuts are adding up. Finally, an arrow hit the quiver that was hanging on her back, cutting the thread, causing it to fall. Glode, now left with 1 arrow in hand, is now in a corner. But just as Glode is not used to nightingales, they are also not used to wind dancers. While night isn't their preferred hunting time, it is hardly their fear, as even at night the wind blows strong. And what do wind dancers do if not dance with the wind? Glode began her dance, moving with the wind so perfectly as if her body itself was a blur. The nightingale shot multiple arrows that seemed as if the wind itself was blocking her. Arrows that seemed sure to hit was being blown off course by the wind. The nightingale became infuriated and mesmerized with the wind dancer, causing her to let her guard down. Before she knew it, Glode was over her head and landing behind her. Both the nightingale and the wind dancer was standing back to back. The silence was deafening when a sudden breeze blew between the two, and both swing around holding their bow at each other's head. Stuck in a stalemate, the nightingale's hood was blown down by the wind, causing the pale blue eyes of the nightingale to meet Glode's fiery red eyes. "You're fun," Glode said with a mischievous smile. "You're annoying," the nightingale said. "You're one of the few that can say that to my face," Glode retorted, followed by her introducing herself. "I'm Glode of the Wind Dancers. "What's your name, friend?" "We are not friends, and my name is Serena of the Night Gales," Serena replied. Neither heard of the other. Glode acknowledged that they were equally matched, and Serena reluctantly could only agree. But it was late, and Glode needed to return to her clan, and she had traveled a far distance. Glode said her goodbyes and jumped backwards into the darkness of the forest. "I hope we meet again, Serena," echoed to the forest as she danced away. "I hope you never return," Serena said as she fixed her hood and retreated into the darkness of the forest.